Did you know that as of May 2025, India has rocketed past Japan to become the world's fourth largest economy, with a blistering GDP growth of 7.4% in the final quarter of fiscal year 2024-25? That's right. While the US grapples with tariffs and slowdowns, India's economy is exploding at over 6.5% for the full year, on track to hit $20.7 trillion by 2030 and a staggering $34.2 trillion by 2038, potentially eclipsing America in purchasing power parity terms. This seismic shift isn't just numbers on a chart. It's reshaping global alliances, trade routes, and power dynamics. 8 nations are already leaning hard into this Indian wave, their futures hinging on Delhi's dominance. Buckle up as we count down from 8 to 1. The countries most dependent on India's overtake, with fresh 2025 insights that will blow your mind. Starting at number 8. The United Arab Emirates, or UAE, whose desert economy is blooming like never before thanks to India's voracious appetite for energy and gold. In July 2025 alone, India exported a whopping $2.98 billion worth of goods to the UAE, making it India's third largest trading partner, while importing crucial oil that powers its factories. But here's the 2025 twist. Amid U.S. tariff hikes under the new administration, UAE firms like DP World have doubled down on Indian ports, investing $5 billion in Mumbai's infrastructure to reroute Middle East trade away from American disruptions. This shift means the UAE's non-oil GDP, already at 4.5% growth this year, relies on Indian consumers snapping up 40% of its refined petroleum exports. Without India's rise, Dubai's glittering skyline could dim. With it, the Emirates are positioning as Asia's gateway, their fates intertwined in a golden trade tango that's educational gold for global economics buffs. Number 7 takes us to the United Kingdom, where post-Brexit blues are fading fast under India's economic sunrise. The UK, once India's colonial overlord, now exports $13.96 billion in services like finance and education to a booming middle class that's tripled since 2015. Fresh 2025 data from the Office for National Statistics shows UK-India trade hitting £40 billion, up 15% year-over-year, fueled by Indian IT giants like Infosys setting up shop in London to tap skilled labor. Shocking stat. With US-UK ties strained by 25% tariffs on steel, Britain has pivoted to India's free trade talks, aiming for a deal by year's end that could add 0.2% to UK GDP. This dependency educates us on historical ironies. India's software prowess is now bankrolling British pensions, turning old empires into equal partners in a digital renaissance that's as informative as it is uplifting. Clocking in at number 6 is Saudi Arabia, the oil kingdom whose Vision 2030 dreams are lubricated by Indian investments pouring in like monsoon rains. In 2025, India overtook China as Saudi's top crude buyer, importing 1.2 million barrels daily and exporting $10 billion in gems and pharma in return. A recent Riyadh summit in March saw $15 billion pledged for Indian solar projects. But the real shift? With U.S. shale floods crashing prices, Saudi Aramco is eyeing Indian refineries for joint ventures, boosting Riyadh's non-oil revenue by 8% this quarter per Aramco reports. This mutual reliance teaches a vital lesson in energy transitions. India's green push is diversifying Saudi's economy, preventing a post-oil slump and creating jobs for millions. It's a shocking pivot from rivalry to symbiosis, highlighting how India's overtake stabilizes the Gulf's future. At number 5, Germany, the engineering powerhouse, is revving its engines on Indian roads, with its auto giants like Volkswagen and BMW exporting $8.5 billion in vehicles to India's 30 million annual car buyers. 2025 is highlight. Amid Europe's 1.2% growth slump, German firms announced €2 billion in EV battery plants in Gujarat, spurred by India's 7% auto sector surge despite global chip shortages. Per the German-Indian Business Association, this offsets U.S. market losses from tariffs, adding 50,000 jobs back home. Educationally, it underscores supply chain resilience. India's skilled workforce is rebuilding Germany's middle stand, turning made in Germany into assembled in India. This dependency is a masterclass in industrial evolution, proving how one nation's rise can turbocharge another's legacy. Number 4 spotlights Japan, whose tech titans are betting big on India's Make in India to outmaneuver U.S. protectionism. In 2025, Japanese FDI into India hit $4.5 billion, up 20%, with Suzuki and Toyota dominating 50% of the two-wheeler market amid a 12% sales boom. Tokyo's latest economic survey notes that with America slapping 10% duties on electronics, Japan-India's semiconductor pacts, like the $10 billion Foxconn plant in Tamil Nadu, are safeguarding supply lines. This teaches us about strategic decoupling. India's demographic dividend of 1.4 billion consumers is Japan's antidote to aging woes, fostering innovations in AI and robotics. Shocking yet inspiring, it's a lesson in East-West fusion, where cherry blossoms meet spicy street food in boardrooms shaping tomorrow's gadgets. Dropping to number 3. South Korea. The K-wave innovator whose Samsung and Hyundai empires are deeply embedded in India's digital heartbeat. 2025 exports to India reached $25 billion, led by smartphones that captured 40% market share, while Korean shipyards build for Indian navies amid Indo-Pacific tensions. A June Seoul Pact injected $7 billion into Indian 5G infrastructure, countering U.S. export curbs on tech. Korea's central bank reports this cushions their 2.5% growth against global headwinds, with Indian remittances from 200,000 expats adding spice. Informative for geopolitics fans, it reveals how India's overtake amplifies Korea's soft power, from BTS concerts to battery breakthroughs, creating a symbiotic circuit that's electric and essential. Number 2 belongs to China, the dragon whose factories hum to India's tune in a love-hate trade romance worth $135 billion in 2025. Despite border spats, India imports $100 billion in components for its electronics boom, while exporting cotton and seafood that feed Chinese mills. Beijing's Commerce Ministry data shows a 10% trade uptick post-U.S. tariffs, with belt and road extensions into Indian ports. This dependency educates on multipolarity. China's overcapacity finds a hungry market in India's urbanization, stabilizing jobs for 10 million workers. Shocking irony, rival superpowers are economically handcuffed, with India's rise tempering China's slowdown to 4.8% GDP. It's a riveting case study in managed competition, where walls crumble under weight of wallets. And finally, number 1. The United States itself. Counterintuitively, the most hooked on India's ascent despite the overtake narrative. In 2025, U.S.-India trade soared to $200 billion, with Apple shifting 20% of iPhone production to Bengaluru amid tariff wars. Washington's latest USTR report highlights $50 billion in services inflows from Indian H-1B talent fueling Silicon Valley, even as projections dim U.S. growth to 2.1%. Biden-era deals like ISET have locked in defense co-productions. This teaches profound globalization truths. America's innovation edge depends on India's scale, creating 1 million U.S. jobs in outsourcing. Shocking. Absolutely, the overtaker is America's secret weapon against China, a twist that redefines rivalry as reluctant reliance. Phew, what a whirlwind. From desert deals to dragon dances, India's 2025 search is redrawing the world map, one trade pact at a time. If this countdown ignited your curiosity about global economics, hit that like button, subscribe for more mind-bending updates, and drop a comment. Which country's shift surprises you most? Thanks for watching. Stay informed, stay empowered. See you in the next video.